Hey, everybody, welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh,
I'm Garrett.
and that's it. That's all that's ever been on this show. I don't know
There's
anyone else
nobody else.
who's been on this show before. No, David is out on a trip to Disney World. Very exciting. I'm sure he
I
will
don't
tell
know
us
who
about it.
signed off on that vacation. I don't think HR approved it, but
Do we have HR? Which one of us is HR? That's the
that's what I'm saying.
question.
He clearly didn't
Ooh,
submit the paperwork unless
no,
David's HR.
I didn't approve any PTO from this
David could be.
very paid
Yeah,
gig.
it's Nikki. Nikki's
Yeah,
our PR girl.
that's probably true. That's
HR.
probably true. HR.
PR and HR. You can
Well,
do,
there
she
you
can do
go.
both.
That's everybody is PR for the show. We need as many PR people as we can get. Yeah,
Yes.
he's off in Disney having a Disney time. I'm sure he will tell us all about it when he's back. Next time. I don't even know when that'll be,
Yeah.
but next time he'll
Yeah.
be back.
Depending on when you're listening to this.
Yeah, so it's just us today, which is fine because we've still got plenty of fun and not fun and maybe in the middle, movie, TV, and just, pop culture news to talk about today on this episode. Later in the week, we are going to be dropping a episode for a review of a movie that we kind of just pulled out of thin air as a decision to do. But if you are into the K-pop Demon Hunters movie that's on Netflix, we're going to be talking about it.
You know, this theme of the month, if you will, is blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, this movie is the biggest blockbuster on streaming because I've heard nobody else talking about. Like, this movie had no, ads that hit my social media in any way, shape, or form. It truly was just positive word of mouth that I kept hearing about this, and I was like, maybe this is a good one to do. It seems popular. I have not heard anything bad about it. Let's give it a shot. We don't know anything about K-pop.
One of the songs from the movie is currently in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. So it's crossing over from music streaming or from movie streaming into music streaming. We're gonna be talking about it. So be sure you subscribe to the show, SoManySequels.com. You can find all our links there. But the video is available on YouTube and on Spotify, and you can get the podcast wherever you get podcasts from. We'll be talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. That's on Netflix, so you have some time to go watch it if you haven't seen it yet before we talk about it. Yeah. Let's get into, though, what we've been watching this week. I wanted to start off with a brand new movie that I went and saw in theaters recently, which is Ari Aster's Eddington.
Yes. Yeah. I've heard, I haven't seen it. I've heard people talking about it. Seems, I don't know. I'm a little afraid of it, but not maybe necessarily in how I would normally be afraid of an Ari Aster movie.
Right. This is the mind behind Hereditary and Midsummer and Beau is Afraid. He's now come back with this movie, Eddington. A lot of, at least two of those other films mentioned are horror movies, unmistakably. So this one is different, though, and it's more of a satire, Western in a lot of ways, and it is set during the pandemic. It is set specifically in May 2020, so very early in the pandemic, and it takes place in the small town of Eddington, New Mexico. A population just a few thousand people, very remote town, where you have Ted Garcia, the mayor, played by Pedro Pascal, and the county sheriff, Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix, kind of come to a head over what you might expect is, varying views on COVID regulations, wearing masks, all those things that many of us, I think, have tried to wipe from our memories. But
Yeah.
That's the premise. Is it sets up between an election for the next mayoral term between Pedro and Joaquin's character, and it just kind of explores the conspiracy madness at that time that a lot of people we're exposed to through isolation, the quarantine isolation, and then being online so much. It dives into everything, vaccines, racial justice movements, um, political activism, performative political activism. There is no side of the aisle that is safe from the satire. Everybody gets
Mhm.
made fun of, and I think to a degree that's gonna inform your viewing. This is a really seems like it's a pretty contentious movie, and that some people either like are really into it or they hated it. I am I lean toward thinking it was a good movie, but I think I'm gonna have to sit with it for a long time, and I don't know that I'd want to watch it again. But
Yeah.
it
It feels
definitely
like
had its moments.
I feel like it's one of those things that's difficult. I haven't seen it.
Right.
My initial like comparison is that it reminds me a little bit of Don't Look Up,
Mm,
where it's trying to satire something that is so, I mean, just so one of a kind thing that it's difficult to satire because it seems like satire. Like
yeah.
reality seems like satire. And when you live through it, sometimes it can deaden what it's trying to do. So I feel like that could be something that is leading to some of that contention, is that the satire is just not landing because it's so fresh, because it's so real, and because so many people did live through it, that they are trying to not remember it. And so I feel like that could be one of those things that's kind of, if people watch it later in life, maybe it will have a different reaction.
I think that's probably true because uh, just being in the audience, it was a Saturday night, so it was a pretty full theater, and you could tell just there was a range of reactions during the movie. Like, there's some scenes where, like, some people laughed, some people didn't. There's maybe 1 or 2 scenes where, like, everybody laughed, but for the most part, it was, like, selective laughter, selective reactions where it's like, "Okay, I think we're all on different pages in this movie," because where the Don't Look Up comparison is different is, that movie, um, wasn't satirizing a real historical event like this is.
Right.
Whereas I think watching Eddington, there are gonna be some people who are very much believing still some of the things that are being satirized on, whatever side of the, because again, the, Ari Aster definitely covers both major sides of all these issues, and it's
Yeah.
very interesting. And then it kinda, it gets wild at the end, like his movies also often do, so I don't wanna spoil that,
Sure.
but it does get wild. It's maybe too long.
2.5 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would have
Ugh.
absolutely shaved off good chunks. Probably the last 30 minutes, I was like, "When is it
That's the
ending?
thing
Is it
too,
over
like,
yet? How is it still going?"
I don't wanna sit through 2.5 hours of remembering that either, you know? Like, again, that was not a fun time to live through. I don't wanna sit there for 2.5 hours and do it again.
There were some things where, like, I don't know, I might tell you off mic just because of our time in the news that that triggered me.
Oh
I
god.
was like, "Oh, I don't like hearing this again."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Lord have
Anyway,
mercy.
that's Eddington, the new Ari Aster film. It is not a horror movie, but it still finds a way to make you feel really upset whether you liked it or not, I think. So go see
Yeah.
that if that is up your alley. Um, what about you? You watched anything fun this week or not fun?
Listen, I've been watching Love Island. Don't
Oh, who
don't fight me
hasn't?
on it.
Who hasn't?
Exactly. This
Liars.
is, again, I talked about it just a few minutes ago. Back up, hit that back up button, and you can hear me say the fan reaction is what got me interested in K-pop Demon Hunters, and the same is said for this season of Love Island. I have had zero experience with this show, and it was another one of those things where I just kept hearing people talk about it in certain ways, and I guess you could call this influencer marketing at its finest if you want to. but I don't have a lot of that stuff on my feeds. I just hear people talk about it. So we jumped into it, and it was certainly something that I didn't expect. Now listen, we're the kids in this show are kids. They're in their 20s, right? Josh and I are not in our 20s anymore, but we've lived through the 20s. And the kids on that show would call us the dads. We'd be dads now, right? I mean, David's on the show. He's a
the
dad.
literal, actual
We're not
dad.
dads.
Yeah.
But I jumped into this show expecting what I get from any kind of dating show. Drama, chaos, crazy, stealing people's others, all that kind of stuff. And I have been surprised at how little of that I've gotten. There's been drama, there's been fighting, there's been all of that stuff. But I gotta say, these people overall, I would say, have been very emotionally secure, aware, and
Many of them really
not
have.
afraid to express it in a not offensive way.
And then there's Huda.
Oh, some of them haven't gotten there yet.
I had to. Come on. Who isn't? Who isn't
Sure,
saying
of
this?
course, But it has been out. That truly has been the biggest surprise. I've seen really good examples of sisterhood. I've seen really good examples of male friendship in real life, which you don't see a lot of. You don't see a lot of men being that vulnerable with each other, especially at that age. And so I was really impressed by that. I saw these women kind of calling the guys out and making them face their emotions or the uncomfortableness of it. And there was a lot less, cattiness. And some of the drama was based on like real conversations. I don't know. It wasn't what I expected. What about you? I know you've been watching it too. And you've been watching a couple of extra seasons. So how does this one compare?
I've been on the Love Island train for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that the time has finally come when it has been relevant for this podcast. I've never needed to bring it up, but it is interesting to hear that from you being your first season watching it, because I do agree that there's a lot of that going on, but it's interesting because I've seen it done. I've seen it better in previous seasons. I think is where I've been like, I've thought like, well, I don't know, this cast is not quite as mature, I don't think, as last season's cast, for example. Which is not to like, I'm not to denigrate these guys, but I see a different perspective of, well, I don't know. Some of the folks last season, the girls also did a really good job of kind of like supporting each other and working together, and there was a lot of good attention with the guys too. So it's the psychology of Love Island.
I know. Well, and I gotta say, we gotta give a shout out because the other reason that I jumped into the show is straight up because there's a guy from Oklahoma in there. Taylor's from Oklahoma. He's a rodeo, and wanted to show some support there. So that was, that was what got me in there initially.
I don't watch this show, but there's an Oklahoma guy on this season of Big Brother as well, I've heard.
So, I won't watch that one.
Yeah,
good for them.
I've tried, and it's just I can't do it.
Not for me.
No, I don't know. Yeah. Also, what a great segue here. I don't want to watch it because it's on CBS. For no reason.
You know what?
That I can think of at all.
No. What happened? Did something happen with CBS?
Yeah. We got it. Look.
Yeah. Josh, you and I.
First they came for Colbert.
Are late.
Okay.
I know. You and I are Colbert OGs, right?
Oh,
I don't get a chance. I don't watch it as much anymore.
I don't either.
But
because
when no one was watching it, you know who was watching it?
We were watching it nightly. The first couple seasons, at least.
John Baptiste, when he was the best part of that show.
The reason I'm a Baptiste fan.
Absolutely. The Grammy Award winner. I listened to that album, was like, Grammy.
I was so sad when he left the show.
It was devastating. And now we are sad because they're just getting rid of the show.
Yes.
For financial reasons, they say.
Right.
We will give them their due and say
I will defer to their lawyers.
It is for financial reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of polka dots that connect
aren't
that
there?
make me feel like a conspiracy theorist for just looking at the evidence. And I don't like that.
You should
I don't
go
like when
with.
the evidence is real and I feel like I'm crazy.
You should move to Eddington. Take that conspiracy theory there. They would be all up in this. All up in this. No, look, I understand the reality that late night TV in general is probably not profitable.
Hmm.
Certainly not what it used to be in terms of profit. I
Sure.
don't know,
No.
everything. Because, like, for example, I know that the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon is like third place in the ratings, and Colbert is first. But I know that but I know that Fallon cleans the floor with him online, and I know that
Yeah.
Colbert has a very small digital footprint. So it's like there's some trade offs of like, well, I don't know what's more profitable, the TV or the internet.
Sure. Yeah.
But there is something really tragic to me about losing late night TV as an institution. It has been a part of at least the American fabric of society since the television was created, more or less. The Late Show goes back to the early to mid '90s, but late night TV has been around for almost as long as television has, and it has brought us
Yeah.
some of our most important and memorable, like, cultural moments. I think back on time. I genuinely, from time to time, especially around anniversaries, look back on late night clips related to 9/11. I still think about some of the things that those hosts said. So I really try to look at this from a perspective of what are we losing when shows like this go away, and I hope that, and I'm sure that Stephen Colbert and his uh, team will end up somewhere doing something that is still great. But it is just a moment where I want to grieve a little bit the loss of a pretty big institution for television. Something that's
Yeah.
important to
And
me.
yeah. And you mentioned that how long it's been no matter how a late night show approached it, the monologue that they would do is a moment in time telling. It's like a newspaper to some extent. They're they're making fun of, they're satirizing, they're humorizing real life or bringing attention to something in real life or trying to make something tragic connectable and relieving depending on the time. So they provide something to a lot of people and history. And so for this show, again, it just raises so many questions. Yeah. With Colbert being number one, they've canceled their late night. I can't imagine they would do anything other than like syndicated shows at this point in time. So saves them money. It's great that it happened at the same time that they are trying to go through a merger and get that approved by the government. That's what a coinky dink that is. It's just rich people, what are you going to do? I'm glad they can get their merger through and sell off an institutional show at the same time. Wow, they really just did a good job there for them. for those
Right.
for those one percenters, right? They're really looking out for it.
Isn't it great that we lose the Late Show so that Paramount and Skydance can merge? Some two words that most people don't even know what they mean.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? While we're talking about that, there was also a recension of PBS and NPR and public broadcasting funding. So that means shows like Sesame Street and shows like Arthur, which I know it's not on anymore, but like we grew up with that. All of these shows,
These
no,
shows
they're in jeopardy. They're
and
in jeopardy of being in existence anymore.
yeah,
Mr. Rogers once stood up to Congress. LeVar Burton once stood up to Congress and saved all of these shows that do good with no ulterior motives.
yeah.
And I would say that if you do want to help, Josh, you and I had a conversation about this and you mentioned it, cancel that Paramount Plus subscription and go get that PBS subscription.
Mhm. Yeah, I would yeah, I would absolutely encourage people to do that. PBS is another just like a rock solid American institution in my mind that I can't imagine losing it. And let's be clear that we're not there yet. They were completely defunded by the government, but they didn't. That doesn't make them go away immediately.
Right.
We have the
No.
opportunity to support them through the subscriptions, like their streaming app, through monthly donations to your local member station, which is what I would recommend you do if you really want to
Yes.
support PBS. Find your local station and support them directly. That's gonna do the most good. And you know,
Same
there's
thing
a
with
lot of
NPR.
there's a lot of film. Ken Burns, his documentaries, he has a relationship with PBS for a reason. He's also been a staunch defender of it, and he's done some of the most important documentaries about American history and American culture that anyone has done. And yes, NPR is hugely important. It is not, you know, forever people have just kind of like made fun of NPR as like, the Starbucks coffee liberal professor is listening to NPR on the way to work. But no, rural communities really rely heavily on NPR, but it's not called NPR there. It's called blankety blank. It's
KWGS.
called KWGS. It's called KOSU. It's called all these different local stations that are supplying news to people in rural communities who may not get it otherwise because it's all they have. They don't
And weather.
and weather. We're in Oklahoma. I think a good chunk of our listeners and our viewers are in Oklahoma. Not everyone in Oklahoma has internet access. These people do listen to the radio. I don't know. We could do a whole episode about it, but it's been a very sad week to me to lose the Late Show, PBS, and NPR in one fell swoop. Again, not immediately. They're not all going away overnight, but it was a shocking look
At what the priorities
at
are.
what the priorities are by the leaders of this country. And that's exactly right.
On that note,
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2 released a trailer.
Another show.
Oh man, let's just talk about that real quick because we've covered the Mortal Kombat series, at least the first two on this show. I don't remember if we did the other one or not. Maybe we
I
did.
don't remember, but we definitely hit that reboot. That I think we all enjoyed. I don't remember what David thought, but we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we
reboot
just
was
watched.
good. It shouldn't have been that good.
We just watched the trailer before recording this, and it had some moments where it looks fun. You got Karl Urban is starring as Johnny Cage, as appears to be the main character in this one.
When he
And
put those sunglasses on that way, I was like, oh,
he
here we
embodies
go.
it. Look, Karl Urban is, I think he's underrated.
He's
He was great in those Star Trek reboots, those J.J. Abrams Star Treks. I liked him as who was he in those?
he was the Doctor.
That's right, he was McCoy.
Yes.
And then Dredd, he's really good in Dredd.
I never saw Dredd.
You should. It was good. It was good.
He's great in The Boys.
He's so great in The Boys, and this looks like just this character could also come out of The Boys. Yeah,
Exactly.
So, looks fun. You're the Mortal Kombat expert, if there is one on the show. What are you
Yes,
thinking?
I think it looks pretty okay. I think it's got to win me over a little bit, but I was hesitant of the other one too. So and that one won me over. So I'm gonna give it full opportunities. I'm excited for who they cast as Johnny Cage. That ending of the trailer with Scorpion down there in his hell place, like, so it's got some opportunities for it to be really cool. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think it. When did it? Is it October? I think it said October, and it said filmed for IMAX. So,
ooh,
could be exciting.
I think so. Definitely for Halloween. Like that's a Halloween kind of.
We watched the Red Band trailer, and it was bloody. We got sliced in half,
splitting people in half.
Exactly. So that's Mortal Kombat coming out later this year. Go check out that trailer if you haven't seen it yet. You might enjoy it. Okay, let's do a quick box office recap for the week. It's big summer. with Superman and Jurassic World out just like taking everybody's money. It seems like,
Yeah, I know.
which is you know, yeah, you
Good
good.
for
You
them.
want to see this at the movie theaters. You want to see busy, happy moviegoers, and that's what I've been seeing as I've been going
There's
recently.
something for everybody this summer movie season.
There really is. Superman is still flying high. It held on to that number one spot this week with $57 million for that second weekend. That's a pretty good drop for a superhero movie. It's like 50, mid 50%, 54,
Yeah.
55%. They usually have a bigger drop off than that because superhero movies are, typically front loaded with the audience. So very good sign
Yeah.
for Superman to have a very
Word of mouth.
moderate drop in that second week. Yeah, it is word of mouth stuff, and it's people going back second time. So it's up to about $236 million here in the U.S., and it's already crossed the 400 million mark worldwide. DC is banking on this movie to launch its new DCU under James Gunn. We've got Supergirl and Clayface movies coming up next. We've talked about those a little bit. If they stick with this pattern, and the Supergirl poster was just out the other day, the teaser
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
Looks like the same vibe, even though it's not, James isn't directing that one. He's still kind of leading the charge. Should be good.
Sure.
Should be interesting. But among the new releases this weekend, it was kind of a flop fest. I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot to that we've been talking about also kind of all summer, opened in third place with $13 million, which is actually pretty decent for its budget. These movies don't spend a lot to get made, but critics and audiences were not impressed. The scores are not good. But the director, Jennifer Robinson, tweeted a screenshot of the bad Rotten Tomato scores and said camp. So she's embracing it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The downside is the audience on that one. If the audience isn't feeling it,
Then
that's
it's not
something
camp,
that,
I don't think.
yeah, I get it if the critics don't
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Whatever. They're looking at it if it's going to be good. But if the audience is walking away like, then
Smurfs is here for someone. It debuted to $11 million, which is very rough for its $58 million budget. Rihanna is a Smurfette in this one. They've
I
really
did
been
not know
selling.
that.
Yeah, they've really been selling that Rihanna is Smurfette because
Why?
I don't know. She also recorded a new song for the album, and it's like, or for the movie, and people have been wanting new Rihanna music for years, and this is what, yeah. So people are, no, they're not.
Like
Actually,
that strategy worked out very well.
it didn't work. They've got to stop. We're trying to make Smurfs work, I think.
I agree. It's kind of like we talked about the Looney Tunes a while ago.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Looney Tunes. You love the Looney Tunes, but who is the audience for new Looney Tunes?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Who's the new audience for whatever the heck we read? Smurfs. Yeah, who's the audience for Smurfs?
I don't know, because I don't feel like kids really know about them or would want to. But I don't know. Someone's doing studies. Ari Aster's Eddington that we talked about earlier in the show, it made about $4 million, which is small, but this is an artsy movie. If it has legs like his past movies it could do typical for that kind of thing. But we'll see. And then Jurassic World Rebirth and F1 round out the top 5. Those movies are both still doing pretty well. Next weekend, we're getting, I think, potentially the last potential blockbuster of the summer with Fantastic Four. I think we kind of shift back into back to school mode after this movie comes out. So looking forward to seeing how that does. Marvel's had a decent year with Thunderbolts. People like that. And people have been waiting for Marvel to make Fantastic Four for a while. Sony never could do it. Or was it Fox? I don't remember which one. The other two are not good.
Couldn't tell you.
And, a lot of goodwill with this cast. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, the guy from Stranger Things. Eddie. Joseph Quinn, that's his name. I had to think about it.
Yes, Joseph Quinn.
And then
I think...
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. That's all I'll say. It's going to be interesting how this goes.
Yeah. And then Happy Gilmore 2 will drop next weekend on Netflix.
Whoa.
Shooter.
Oh, Shooter. Wow, look at
Put
that. That's cool.
Brought to you by
Did you
Subway.
actually get Subway, or did you just order the cup?
No, I actually went to Subway,
Okay, okay. I was just
and I
curious.
added $1 to get the cup.
You can't just go in and be like, "Can I have that shooter cup?"
I don't know if you can actually. I didn't. I did it. I did like an app order.
I'll pay you. What's a $5 foot long now? $7.99. I'll give you $7.99 for that cup. I don't want a
Yeah.
sandwich. I just want a cup.
I know, right? And I don't know. There's a Happy Cup. There's different characters. They're not all shooter.
Fun.
But yeah,
That's very cool.
It's fun. It's fun. So that's what we have to look forward to next week on the show. That's it for us. Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. You can go to somanysequels.com and get links to all that. Join our Discord community, chat with us about movies. We'd love to see you there. And finally, follow us on Letterboxd. You can follow both of us. You can follow the show. We're logging movies there, and it's just, we haven't said this in a while, but it's still the best social media network in terms of not having to read BS.
Yeah.
It may be the only social app no one doom scrolls. You can't
Agreed.
doom scroll Letterboxd
No.
unless you're just only
Because
reading
even if you
Joker 2
tried,
reviews.
the reviews are pretty funny.
That's true. Even the bad movies have funny reviews.
Yeah.
They should run with that as like you can't doom scroll Letterboxd.
Bad movie, good reviews. Check out Letterboxd.
I like it. Yeah, go find us on all those. We will see you guys next time. Bye.